Hey everybody, I'm going to go over a bit of a beginner beat displacement lesson today. Although it's a beginner lesson, it's still an intermediate or an advanced topic. I'd recommend you know your grooves, your fills, have decent time, you know where to find the one, and you can play some left hand or left foot independence over top of this, because otherwise once you start displacing things you have to have this stuff down pretty good. If you like this video, I hate asking, but hit the like or subscribe underneath. It just gives me a bit of recognition, lets me know people are watching my videos, and it kind of bumps them up a little bit so other people get to see them. If you have any questions, comments, or requests, put them in the comments below, and I will try and get to those videos. I have a list of a couple I've already got to do for a few other guys that requested some stuff, but I always like more ideas, and then it keeps me making videos. Alright, so beat displacement. I'm going to start off real simple, and then we're going to get a little more advanced. I'm going to do a couple grooves, I'm going to do a couple fills, and show you where I use it. I will often use beat displacement as just a bit of a fill. If I'm playing a groove, rather than do like a big tom fill, especially if it's not a really loud over-the-top song, that's going to sound too much. So what you can do is just displace the beat, either a 16th note or an 8th note, and it totally changes the feel of it, but it still sounds cool. Another cool thing is if you have so many fills, so many grooves, well, you have 4 different beats. If you're using 16th notes, you've basically times all of that by 4. And your band will probably either love it or hate it. Don't use it without telling them you're trying it, because they're not going to know where the one is. Another reason why your hi-hat is very important for keeping time, because when I displace a beat, for an example, here's a paradiddle groove. Here's one displaced by, let's say, a 16th note. You can't tell. When I have the hi-hat going, or let's do it on the ride then. You can tell I'm on beat 1. Now, if I displace it, let's say a 16th note, now let's try an 8th note. Once again, it changes the feel. So let's start out real simple here. What am I doing? If I go 16th notes, 1, E, and is your 4 choices. So let's take the regular, you know, around the world drum fill, the most overused, terrible drum fill there is, and we'll play it at 80 beats a minute. Simple. So now how do we displace this? Well, instead of starting on the 1, we're going to start on the E. That doesn't mean you can go E and a, 2 E and a, 3 E and a, 4 E and a. That just means you skipped the first note. You didn't displace anything. So we're actually going to play all 4 notes on each drum as we go, and we'll start at 80 beats a minute again. You're going to notice something. I'm going to show you in a second. Notice how I'm only hitting 3 on the end. E and a, 2 E and a, 3 E and a, 4 E and a, 1. If I hit that last note, I'm going to go over the bar line, and I'm going to have to start on the and of 1 or something like that. So we're not doing that in this course. I'm going to make a over the bar line course and a modulation course next, probably. So what we do here is we stop on the 4 E and a, but you're going to notice that's the right hand, so you're going to have to crash the 1. So that's one option, is you crash the left hand. I do that fairly often when I'm playing. If you don't want to do that, I would just do a double stroke on the left hand at the end. So let's put the metronome on again. And that's another reason why, if you look at my other videos, singles, doubles, diddles, all that stuff, it really does matter if you don't want to end up on always using your left hand. Sometimes you end up in a fill, and you know you're going to end up in the wrong spot. You can just slap a double in there, and it flips your hands. So now we're going to start on the and of 1. 1 E and a, 2 E and a, 3 E and a, 4 E and a, 1. And you'll notice there's 2 on the last floor tom now, and we're crashing on the right. This one's actually probably easier to learn. If you're just starting out, I would try this one before working on the E's and the A's. Now let's try the Oz. 1E and 2E and 3E and 4E and same thing. I'm either going to crash to the left or do a double. All right, I set the metronome to 16th notes. It's going to make it a little easier to see. We're going to start off with just a simple beat. And we're going to move it to the Oz first. All right, now we're going to try moving it to the E's. This is where it gets tricky, playing it in between if you're not used to doing this. I recommend playing it a little bit slower. I'll just slow that down to 70 so you can hear it, and we'll try it again. We're going to play on the E's this time. All right, now that we got basically a generic fill and the most simple beat down, I'm going to show you with the 16th note groove where this starts getting really cool, and we're going to speed it up and I'll show you why. So I just did the same paradiddle groove. I went over the E's, Oz, and the Ands, and notice how it changed the feel. I'll play something here, and I'll just keep time on the hi-hat, because that way you won't hear the click, and you'll see how it changes. You have to keep the time on the hi-hat, otherwise it doesn't really have the same effect, and no one will know where the one is. So if you're just playing a simple groove, you could get away with that as a fill because it changes it enough that it's not the same thing, but you're not going, really over the top, unnecessary fills. Even if you're just playing with a band and your simple ballad. Just enough of a change that it will sound really nice. Someone will be like, hey, there's something different there, but it's not too much. Okay, so now we're going to displace a fill. Here's the fill I used in the lesson I made about 2-3 days ago. It's basically paradiddles. And then we change them to triplets. And then we moved the right hand, first three to the crash, and then we moved it around the kit. You'll notice if I do this on the ands, I end up with a ghost note on the right hand. And I do not like ending like that. I'm going to have to crash on the left, and it just feels weird. So I switched it to a paradiddle at the end, so right, right, left, left. And it seems to be a lot better for me personally. So let's play this to a click, and I'll show you the difference between the two fills. now, any beat you think of, any fill you have, try doing this with. Once again, keep your metronome going. Let's try this fill. Now let's try paradiddle diddle just to see where it lands. Let's try just, here we go. So, if you like this video, once again, like, subscribe underneath. It gets me a small amount of recognition on YouTube, and it bumps my video up so a few more people see it. If you have any questions, comments, or requests for videos, lessons, reviews, anything of any of the products you see on any of my videos or anything, let me know. I'm really honest about the stuff I play and the techniques I use. I have no reason to lie to anybody. That's pretty much it. And to those of you that have requested videos, I've added them to my list, and I will keep doing so. Thanks a lot for watching, and see you guys soon.